In this video, we're going to look at topic 10, example 3, relate standard form to horizontal and vertical lines. Part A, what does the graph of ax plus by equals c look like when a equals 0? So really quickly, I want to go back to example 1, and we talked about this part right here. A and b are not both equal to 0, so one of them can be 0, but not both of them. And we're going to get into a little more detail on that now. So for 10.3 part A, what does the graph of ax plus by equals c look like when a equals 0? So let's say you made a 0, right? And you had something that looked like this. Well, your 0x term would drop out, and you would only be left with by equals c, because 0 times x is going to be 0, and that would effectively eliminate or cancel itself or drop out. So let's say we have something in that form. Let's say it's just like 2y equals 6. We'll keep it simple. Right? What you have here is an equation that you can solve for. So you would divide both sides by 2, y would be equal to 3, and this represents our y-intercept. And we've been doing that, right? So we plot the point 0, 3 as a y-intercept, and that would be right here. Now, I don't have any x-intercept. Right? It doesn't exist because that a value is 0. So I can't find an x-intercept. The x value doesn't really matter in this problem because no matter what I plug in for x, it's always going to drop out because a is 0. So what that tells me is that no matter what happens, no matter what x value I pick, y is going to be 3. And what that looks like on a graph is a horizontal line through that y-intercept of 0, 3 that we figured out. Because all of these points are going to have y values of 3, it doesn't matter what the x value is. Okay? So if you only have a y-intercept, you will have a horizontal line. Now we want to look at part B, and pretty much the same thing is happening, and there'll be one major but slight difference, although that seems kind of oxymoronic. So what does the graph of ax plus by equals c look like when b equals 0? So this time we'll have ax plus 0y equals c. So 0y would drop out, and we would be left with ax equals c. So let's pick a value for a and c, and let's say 3x equals negative 6. This is an equation we can solve. We would divide by 3, and x equals negative 2. So this is my x-intercept. So negative 2, 0. And I'll plot that on my x-axis. What we're saying in this problem is that, in part B, is that x is always negative 2. Y doesn't matter. X is always negative 2. There is no y value, or whatever y value we pick, x is always going to come out to be negative 2. So this time we have a vertical line that goes through our x-intercept. And that's your graph. So it seems a little backwards, right? If you don't have an x, if you have a y value, your line is going to be parallel to the x-axis. So in part A, you have a horizontal line, and in part B, when you only have an x value, you have a vertical line. That's it. You shouldn't have too much difficulty picking up on this. It'll take a couple practice problems, and you should have the hang of it pretty easily.